Welcome to Wise Voices, where the words of great philosophers and freedom fighters still echo today. If you believe wisdom should guide our modern world, then don't just listen, be part of this journey. Subscribe, tap the like button, and let's keep the wise voices alive together. Every criticism, every rejection, every disappointment, if you let them control your emotions, you're surrendering your personal power to forces outside yourself. The reality is this: the most successful people don't face fewer obstacles than you do. They've simply mastered the art of remaining unshaken. Picture yourself walking through life completely unbothered. No more sleepless nights replaying conversations. No more anxiety about what others think. Just pure, unbreakable inner strength. In this exploration, I'll reveal how to condition your mind to remain unmoved by external circumstances, so you stop being a prisoner of other people's opinions and start commanding respect through your unshakable presence. Because once you master this mindset, no person or situation will ever have power over your peace again. The foundation of unshakable confidence lies in understanding a simple truth that most people never grasp. Your emotional state is not determined by what happens to you, but by how you choose to interpret and respond to what happens. This is the core principle that separates those who crumble under pressure from those who thrive in chaos. When you truly internalize this concept, you realize that giving someone the power to upset you is actually a choice you make, not something that happens to you. Think about the last time someone's words affected your mood for hours or even days. In that moment, you handed over control of your emotional state to another person. You allowed their opinion, their judgment, or their behavior to dictate how you felt about yourself. But what if you could train your mind to automatically reject this transfer of power? What if your default response to negativity was complete indifference? The most powerful individuals throughout history understood this principle instinctively. They moved through the world with an air of detachment that others found both mysterious and magnetic. When faced with insults, they didn't defend themselves aggressively. When confronted with failure, they didn't collapse into despair. Instead, they maintained a calm, steady presence that commanded respect without demanding it. This isn't about becoming emotionless or disconnected from life. It's about becoming selective with your emotional energy. It's about understanding that not every situation deserves your reaction, not every comment deserves your attention, and not every challenge deserves your stress. The people who master this art become untouchable, not because nothing bad ever happens to them, but because they refuse to let external circumstances define their internal experience. Consider how differently you would move through your day if you truly didn't care what others thought about your choices. Imagine the confidence you would exude if criticism bounced off you like rain off an umbrella. Picture the respect you would command if people could never predict or manipulate your emotional responses. This level of mental freedom is not only possible, it's essential for anyone who wants to achieve something meaningful in life. The process begins with recognizing that most of what bothers you is actually insignificant in the grand scheme of your life. That coworker who made a snide comment, the friend who didn't invite you to their event, the stranger who cut you off in traffic. These moments only have power over you if you give them permission to matter. The strong-minded individual looks at these situations and asks a simple question: will this matter in 5 years? Usually, the answer is no. And with that realization comes instant freedom. But developing this mindset goes deeper than just dismissing small annoyances. It requires a fundamental shift in how you view your own worth and identity. Too many people tie their self-esteem to external validation. They need others to approve of their decisions, praise their achievements, and affirm their value. This creates a fragile foundation that crumbles the moment someone withdraws their approval or offers criticism instead. True strength comes from building your sense of self on something much more solid: your own standards, your own values, and your own assessment of your progress. When you know who you are and what you stand for, other people's opinions become just noise in the background. You might hear them, You might even consider them if they come from someone whose judgment you respect, but you don't need them to feel good about yourself. This shift in perspective transforms how you handle conflict and criticism. Instead of getting defensive or upset when someone disagrees with you, you can listen with genuine curiosity. Instead of taking every negative comment as a personal attack, you can evaluate it objectively and take what's useful while discarding what isn't. This response is so unusual that it often disarms people who were expecting an emotional reaction. The beauty of this approach is that it creates a positive feedback loop. The less you react to negativity, the less negativity people direct toward you. When someone realizes they can't get an emotional rise out of you, they usually stop trying. Meanwhile, others begin to respect your composure and seek your counsel precisely because you don't get caught up in drama. Developing this level of emotional control requires daily practice. Start by paying attention to your automatic responses to minor irritations. Notice when your mood shifts because of something someone said or did. In those moments, pause and remind yourself that you're choosing to give your power away. Then, consciously, choose a different response. This might feel unnatural at first, but like any skill, it becomes easier with repetition. The goal isn't to become indifferent to everything, but to become selective about what deserves your emotional investment. Save your passion for your goals, your love for the people who truly matter, and your energy for the pursuits that align with your values. Everything else can be met with calm indifference. When you master the art of selective emotional investment, something remarkable happens. People start to notice your composure. They begin to wonder how you stay so calm when everyone else is stressed. They admire your ability to remain focused while others get distracted by drama. This mysterious quality becomes one of your greatest assets, drawing respect and creating opportunities that wouldn't exist otherwise. The most successful people understand that their attention is their most valuable resource. Every moment you spend worrying about someone's opinion is a moment stolen from building your future. Every ounce of energy you waste on being upset about things you can't control is energy that could be channeled into creating the life you want. This is why learning to act unbothered isn't just about feeling better. It's about becoming more effective in everything you do. Think about the last argument you had that consumed your thoughts for days afterward. While you were replaying that conversation in your mind, analyzing what you should have said differently, and feeling angry about the other person's behavior, what productive activities were you not doing? What opportunities were you missing because your mental energy was tied up in resentment? This is the hidden cost of emotional reactivity that most people never consider. Now imagine a different scenario. Someone says something hurtful to you, and instead of taking it personally, you simply observe it as information about their character, not yours. You might think to yourself, that person seems to be having a difficult day, and then you move on with your own agenda. No lingering anger, no mental replay, no wasted energy. This is the power of emotional detachment in action. Developing this skill requires understanding the difference between responding and reacting. Most people react automatically based on their emotions. Someone insults them, and they immediately feel hurt or angry. They say something they regret, or they carry that negative feeling around for hours. But responding involves taking a moment to choose your action based on your values and goals rather than your immediate emotional impulse. The pause between stimulus and response is where your power lies. In that brief moment, you can ask yourself several important questions. Does this situation require my attention? Will engaging with this negativity help me reach my goals? Is this person's opinion someone I actually respect? Am I reacting from a place of strength or weakness? These questions help you respond from a place of choice rather than compulsion. Professional athletes demonstrate this principle beautifully. During high-pressure situations, the best performers don't get caught up in the crowd's energy or their opponent's attempts at psychological warfare. They stay focused on executing their game plan. They've trained their minds to filter out distractions and maintain concentration on what they can control. This same mental discipline can be applied to everyday situations. Silence becomes your greatest weapon in this process. While others feel compelled to defend themselves, explain their actions, or prove their worth through words, you can choose to say nothing at all. This silence often makes people more uncomfortable than any comeback you could deliver. It forces them to sit with their own behavior while you remain completely unbothered by their attempts to provoke you. The practice of strategic silence serves multiple purposes. First, it prevents you from saying something in anger that you might regret later. Second, it often causes the other person to reveal more about their true character and motivations. Third, it positions you as someone who doesn't need to justify themselves to others. This combination of factors often leads to increased respect from observers, and sometimes even from the person who was initially being difficult. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of remaining unbothered is how it affects your decision-making ability. When you're not clouded by emotional reactions, you can see situations more clearly. You can evaluate opportunities objectively, assess risks accurately, and make choices based on logic rather than feelings. This clarity gives you a significant advantage in both personal and professional situations. Consider how differently you would handle job interviews, business negotiations, or relationship conflicts if you weren't worried about being liked or feared being rejected. When you truly don't need other people's approval to feel good about yourself, you can be authentic, direct, and confident in ways that actually make you more attractive to others. The paradox is that the less you care about what others think, the more they tend to respect you. People are naturally drawn to those who seem comfortable in their own skin. There's something magnetic about someone who doesn't appear to need anything from you, who seems complete within themselves. This quality is rare because most people are constantly seeking validation, approval, or emotional reactions from others. Building this level of inner strength requires consistent practice with small situations before you can apply it to larger challenges. Start by not reacting to minor annoyances. When someone is rude to you in line at the store, practice remaining calm and unbothered. When a colleague makes a passive-aggressive comment, respond with neutrality rather than defensiveness. These small victories build your confidence and strengthen your emotional resilience for bigger tests. The ultimate test of this mindset comes when you face genuine setbacks and failures. This is where most people's composure crumbles completely. They lose a job, face a rejection, or experience a significant disappointment, and suddenly all their emotional control disappears. But those who have truly mastered the art of remaining unbothered understand that failure is simply information, not a reflection of their worth as a person. When you encounter failure with the right mindset, you ask different questions than most people. Instead of, "Why me?" or "This isn't fair," you ask, "What can I learn from this? And how can I use this experience to become stronger?" This shift in perspective transforms failure from a source of pain into a tool for growth. You begin to see obstacles as opportunities to demonstrate your resilience rather than evidence that you're not capable of success. The truly unbothered individual has learned to separate their identity from their circumstances. They understand that they are not their job title, their relationship status, their bank account balance, or their current situation. These things may be part of their life, but they are not who they are. This separation creates an unshakable foundation that external events cannot destroy. This perspective becomes your secret weapon in negotiations and conflicts. When someone tries to pressure you by threatening consequences, your lack of emotional attachment to any specific outcome gives you tremendous power. You can walk away from deals that don't serve you. You can end relationships that drain your energy. You can quit jobs that don't align with your values. This freedom terrifies people who are trapped by their need for security and approval. The most successful entrepreneurs and leaders embody this principle. They make bold decisions, not because they're fearless, but because they're not attached to being comfortable. They understand that temporary discomfort is often the price of long-term success. While others hesitate because they're afraid of what people might think or how they might feel if things don't work out. These individuals act based on logic and opportunity. Mastering this mindset also revolutionizes how you handle criticism and praise. You learn to receive both with equal composure. When someone praises your work, you appreciate it, but don't become dependent on it. When someone criticizes you, you evaluate whether their feedback has merit without taking it as a personal attack. This balanced approach keeps you grounded and focused on continuous improvement rather than emotional highs and lows. The practice of mental rehearsal accelerates your progress in developing unshakable composure. Spend time visualizing yourself handling difficult situations with calm confidence. Picture someone insulting you and imagine yourself responding with quiet strength. Envision facing a major setback and see yourself immediately focusing on solutions rather than dwelling on the problem. This mental practice prepares your subconscious mind to respond automatically in the way you've programmed it. Physical practices support mental strength. Regular exercise doesn't just build your body, it builds your discipline and stress tolerance. When you push through physical discomfort during workouts, you're training the same mental muscles you need to remain composed under pressure. Meditation, or quiet reflection time, helps you observe your thoughts without being controlled by them. Even something as simple as taking deep breaths before responding to challenging situations can make a significant difference. The transformation that occurs when you truly master this art is remarkable. You begin to move through the world with a quiet confidence that others find magnetic. You make decisions faster because you're not paralyzed by fear of judgment. You take on bigger challenges because you know that failure won't destroy you. You form deeper relationships because you're not constantly seeking validation or approval from others. People will notice this change in you, and their reactions will vary. Some will be inspired by your composure and seek to learn from you. Others might be intimidated by your confidence and try to bring you back down to their level. The key is to remain consistent in your new approach, regardless of how others respond. Remember, their reactions are about them, not about you. The most profound realization that comes with mastering this mindset is that happiness and peace are internal states that don't depend on external circumstances. You discover that you can be content and focused, regardless of what's happening around you. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop caring about outcomes. Instead, you become more effective because your actions are driven by purpose rather than emotion. As you continue to develop this unshakable presence, you'll find that opportunities come to you more easily. People want to work with individuals who remain calm under pressure. They want to be around those who don't create drama or get caught up in negativity. Your reputation as someone who can handle anything becomes one of your greatest assets. The journey to becoming truly unbothered is ongoing. There will always be new situations that test your composure, bigger challenges that stretch your emotional resilience. But each test you pass makes you stronger and more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes next. You begin to welcome difficulties because they give you chances to prove to yourself just how unshakable you've become. This is the ultimate freedom that most people spend their entire lives seeking without realizing it. The freedom to be yourself, regardless of what others think. The freedom to pursue your goals without being derailed by criticism or setbacks. The freedom to live according to your own values rather than constantly adjusting to meet others' expectations. When you master the art of acting as if nothing bothers you, you don't just change how you feel, you change who you become.